Well, this is the Lib Dem alternate budget box. Obviously, it's usually red. This time it says very clearly Liberal Democrat budget, and it's yellow. And I'm now in the actual box then. Is there anything inside it?
Well, I've just delivered the speech that was inside it in the House of Commons, setting out the alternative fiscal plan that we as a party would put forward, because we don't agree with the Conservatives that we should be continuing to cut way beyond what's necessary. Our plan would cut less than the Conservatives, borrow less than Labour, get the country's finances back on the right path, and allow us to invest more in things like education and health and productive capital investment.
And tell me a bit more about the box itself. Where did this box come from? It looks like it's something that you just kind of stuck the letters on and decided to put a speech inside it.
Well, it was obtained by my office. I'm not entirely sure where it came from, but it's designed to symbolise something that I think is very important, which is that, of course, there's agreement in the coalition that we need to finish the job of deficit reduction. But there's two very, very different scenarios about how we go about doing so. I don't agree with the Conservatives that all of the final stage of deficit reduction should be based on expenditure cuts. Instead, I think it needs to involve tax rises on the wealthiest, measures to clamp down on tax dodging, more money from the banks, in order to make sure that the burden is shared fairly. And I don't agree with the Conservatives either that we should carry on cutting beyond what is necessary. So, if you like, it's a prop that symbolises an important point, which is that we Liberal Democrats have a very, very different view, both in the Conservatives and in the Labour Party, but what should happen to the nation's finances in the next Parliament.
So if this is the Lib Dem budget, then what was the budget yesterday? Was that the Conservative budget? Is this an admission that you didn't get what you want in the budget?
No, this was something that I agreed to do within the budget negotiations. All of the measures in the budget, the big income tax cuts for working people, which Liberal Democrats have championed, the extra support for mental health, Nick Clegg's idea that he's been pushing very hard for the last few years, measures to help North Sea oil and gas, and so on and so forth. Those are all things absolutely have had to be signed up to, every dot and comma, by myself and George Osborne, as with every stage of economic policy in this Parliament, agreed equally between both parties. But behind the neutral fiscal projections that the OB lies very different views from the Conservative Party and the Liberal Democrats. And I think it's entirely appropriate, maybe a constitutional innovation, but it's entirely appropriate that I should have the opportunity to set that out today.
So if this is your budget that you're now presenting, the alternative Liberal Democrat budget, you said that you signed up to one yesterday. So in a way, is this now the starting gun of the election campaign? Is this the end of the coalition? You got the budget signed off yesterday, but now it seems you're trying to present a very different picture where the Lib Dems and the Conservatives simply can't agree.
Well, in fairness, this is consistent with the picture that I presented at our party conference last year that Nick Clegg and I launched a few weeks back. But what I've been able to do today is, with an alternative fiscal scenario worked on by Treasury officials, to demonstrate to people that you can get the national debt falling, that you can deal with the structural deficit, but you can do so in a way that doesn't involve harsh spending cuts. It doesn't involve taking the country back to 1964. We don't need to have a kind of Cathy come home vision of what the British state can do in order to sort out the country's financial problems. There's a different way of doing it, and I think it's important for the British people to hear that.
You're talking about how you use the Treasury civil servants to lay out this budget. You use your platform as a minister to deliver your kind of Lib Dem vision. As the Speaker, John Bercow, said, is that really an appropriate use of your very important government position, if you like, just for party politics? He wasn't very happy with what you did.
Well, it was spelled out very clearly that this was a Treasury document I was publishing. Today I also published a significant new package of measures that we're taking as a government to crack down on tax dodgers, to get tax evaders to pay their fair share, new criminal penalties for people who aid and abet tax dodging. Those are important things. It's right, I think, that we agreed within the government that this alternative fiscal scenario would be published, and it's right, therefore, to set that out to Parliament.
Thank you. Thank you. So there was Daniel Alexander defending his decision to lay out the alternate Lib Dem budget in the House of Commons. Perhaps the Speaker and he will have to agree to disagree on that.
Sophie, thank